What's up, guys? We're doing an update. It's Desi. She just went to the doctor. See? And so I had did a video before, but I didn't like it. And my hair, look, it's growing more. We got a couple of things that, like I suspected, they weren't going to do much because she has to have the hormones out of her system, the Hcg hormones out of her system in order for them to start, because she needs to have a regular period. And I think the second day of her menstrual, then they'll call her in, right? Second day?
First day.
The first day?
First day.
I thought she said the second day. They doing a scan, right?
She said of the cycle.
Okay.
So that'll be post-menstrual cycle.
What do you mean post-menstrual cycle?
Right? Isn't it like the days in the cycle?
She said to call when you get your period.
Yeah, but you call when we get the period, and then everything in the evaluation is post-menstrual cycle.
I don't know.
Probably scheduled.
So there's 2 sonograms they have to do. One sonogram is just gonna look at her uterus, make sure there's no abnormalities, make sure there's no scar tissue, see the shape of the uterus. And then the second scan that they do, I think like 8 days after the period, is to check the egg quality, right?
Yeah.
Quantity, the amount. So they want to check how much egg she got. There was certain things I forgot about it. She was saying something about if you're missing a gene and the other person has that gene, I guess it's like a gene that could affect the baby, right?
Mm-hmm. If you're missing a chromosome.
Yeah. And it's a 25% chance that the baby could have that chromosome.
If I'm missing it and then the donor has it, then there's a 25% chance that the baby can have whatever the
donor has.
Yes, whatever the disorder is.
Okay. Yeah. So they ask you, like she went today, we're walking because I want to get my Dunkin' Donuts dragon fruit and strawberry with extra strawberry refresher. So we I think they take like blood tests to check for other things too, right?
Yeah, I think they can start that right away once the period starts, because that's a sign that all the hormones are out of my body.
Yeah, because I know that today they did an Hcg test because they want to see where her levels are at, which I know they're going down because I've been taking the pregnancy test and the test line is becoming lighter than the in certain ones, because in the first response, if it reads 6 Hcg and she's 900, it's gonna come back dark. But in the cheapy and the clear blue, it looks like, you know, the clear blue looks like the same, but the cheapy is lighter than the concentration line. The test line is lighter than the concentration line. It's not extremely light, but that tells me that the hormones are getting out of her body. So we have to wait probably like 3 or 4 weeks so that she gets her next menstrual, and then we call them. If we want to test, I thought that they test the eggs. It's not the eggs that they test, it's the embryos that they test. That we would probably, she said sometimes the insurance pays for it, but it's likely that we might have to come out of pocket to pay for the genetic testing, right?
Yes.
To make sure like the embryos are healthy, and if they're not healthy, we want to know that. Then we paying out of pocket for the sperm bank, because she was like, oh, if you want to do your own donor. I'm like, no, that's gonna take 6 months. Odessa is going to be 39 by then.
Gee, thanks for ratting me out.
They already know you're 38. We don't have time to be waiting. So I don't know, what else did she tell you, honey?
You're putting me on the spot. What else do you want to know?
What? I don't remember everything she told you. We spoke about a couple of stuff. We spoke about the size of the egg. So I thought it was like a 16, but they want the egg to be an 18, a score of 18, or did you say 18 millimeters, or
Yeah.
or something, to that size. I asked her about bigger eggs. She's like, we usually look for the size 18. If bigger, we do take out bigger, but we want an 18. Most of the time we want an 18. So we can't really start with everything yet because, like I said, those HCG hormones have to be out of Odessa's body. And, you know, the doctor understands it's not a problem getting pregnant. It's a problem keeping the baby in her stomach and finding out why the sac developed and not the not the fetus. So she did send out testing in the ER for the sac. So they were doing tissue samples. They were going to test the tissues to see why the sac only developed and not the fetus. So that probably will help us a lot in seeing why. But she also said that the cause of her age, and if you have a low count of eggs, that could be a reason why the eggs aren't healthy. What, babe?
Morning.
So hopefully everything is fine.
Where you going?
This way, babe.
No, but there's 2 paths you can walk down.
No, walking down here. So she gave us about 3 different sperm banks that I already knew about one of them. And then I think I saw the other one. But we're going to see. We have 3 types of donors, races that we want. So we'll see. The main thing is to get a child that resembles me or me and her together. And, you know, they asked for my history. They asked for her history. And how do you think that the overall appointment went today?
I feel better about it. I was nervous and intimidated at first, but
Yeah.
felt better
Yeah.
by the end of it.
You know, I told Desi, like, we're just there like everybody else to get a baby. So you have to be, hold on a second. Going into Dunkin' Donuts. So, you know, like, even though it's annoying to wait, like, we just have to wait. So up to the next update. Bali Squad. I wanted to give you an update. Waiting to pick up my son. Let me put this air conditioner down a little bit. So yesterday we got a call, and so they checked Odessa's Hcg levels, and they went from 33,000 to 472. That was yesterday. I actually took some pregnancy tests, and the lines were much lighter today. The test lines were so much lighter today. So they're gonna test her again on Tuesday to see where her levels is at. I think by the end of this week she should be done. Like, she shouldn't have any more HCG in her body. I think she might get her menstrual maybe the 30th of this month, or maybe anywhere between the 1st and 2nd week of July. You know, hoping and praying everything goes good. Once she gets her menstrual, they have to do some blood drawing. They have to test her. They're gonna test for CMV, which is like, some people are immune to it. It's some sort of type of herpes that a lot of people have. A lot of the population, if you go on the donors list, you will see that some of them are CMV positive. But the problem with that is if the mother is negative and the donor is positive, that if they're active positive, like say that the infection is active, because you can be positive for CMV and not be active. Like, it could just be in your immune system because you were exposed to it. So if they're active, Odessa could get sick, and then in tune could sicken the baby if she gets pregnant. So that's so much like what's going on. So she has to do that. She has to do about 3 different sonograms. Like, they're special sonograms. One is to check the cervix. the uterus, to check the uterus and the ovaries and make sure that there's no like scarring tissue or anything there. There's another one for the follicle scan, and I forgot what the other one was for, but there's about 3, and there's a lot of blood tests that they have to do. And the CMV will probably have to come out of pocket for, because sometimes the health insurance don't want to pay for that, so we might have to come out of pocket for that. All right, so I'm back home. I look crazy with my hair growing weirdly, but I wanted to give a little more breakdown about CMV. CMV can cause retardation in certain cases. What is the more appropriate word to say that? Mentally challenged?
ID.
Okay. What's ID? Intellectually disabled?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the reason, like if the parent, let's say, like I was explaining, the father is active or the donor is active, right? She gets pregnant, it passes down to the baby. The baby could be born with issues. He could be born with intellectual disability. It could be, it's like so many things that could affect the baby, you know. There's a paper that talks about it, about CMV. So that's why we have to find out if Odessa does have CMV or not. There is a small percentage of the population that does not have CMV, but a lot of the population, I would say maybe 79% of the population has CMV or somewhere around there. What else would they be doing to you, honey?
The AFC.
What's the AFC?
To check for the follicles.
Yeah, that's one of the sonograms I talked about. The AFC, what I just say, the follicle scan.
Okay.
So the follicle scan, what they do is they check to see how many follicles, which is really eggs, how many eggs you have at each ovary. They're doing, I already talked about the uterus. That's another scan, but she told you about one more scan. There's 3 scans they have to do, right?
Yeah.
What's that one? Because I know they have to check your uterus and all that.
Called the SIS.
What is it? What is it for?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
There's just so much that they have to do, and then once they do the follicle scan, they give you medicine. Their job is to mature the eggs until 18. Like, that's what they want it at. Some people mature their eggs more till 21, but she also explained to me what could happen if you have a lot of eggs. It could be PCOS if you have a lot of eggs, because they could end up being cysts, or she explained a little bit to me. I don't remember everything. Let me see what you got on that paper.
Histogram.
Histogram. What does that do?
That's the SIS. That's when they check the tubes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was, isn't that a histosalpingogram?
No, that's when they put the, no, correction. It's when they stick the dye in there and then...
That's the histosalpingogram. That's what they were going to do.
Yeah, but not the tubes. It's to check, oh, dear Lord.
She got her tooth pulled. That's why she's talking like that.
Right.
So, she's looking it up right now to see what it is. But, and they said they're going to do blood work and stuff like that, right? Did she talk about checking the progesterone, the estrogen? Are they going to check your lining, your uterine lining and stuff like that? Or is that the one where when they do the uterine checking? I don't know if they're going to be able to, because if she has a menstrual, that means her lining is straight.
It's for the uterus and the cervix. They put the fluid into the uterus via the cervix to examine the uterine lining.
Okay, but how are they gonna do that if you getting a menstrual? Your lining shreds when you get your menstrual.
That's like day 8.
Oh, to see. Okay.
That's the last thing we do.
So
it's the blood work, the AFC.
Okay.
And then the SIS.
By then, your lining should have begun to grow or start to grow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But that's the 8th day. But you usually have it for 4 days, right?
You telling all my business.
Sorry.
All my intimate.
You should see her face. I can't overlap because she has a gall in her mouth. First of all, this is our fertility journey. We're supposed to be sharing what happened.
Okay, it's intimate. It's very, very intimate.
Don't look at me like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna show them your face. That's gonna be real intimate. Anyway, but those are the next things that are gonna come up soon, probably in like 3 weeks, because Odessa has a very short menstrual cycle, and her cycle is anywhere from 23 to 25 days. So hoping at the end of June she gets her enemy, and then we can go on from there. I will update you guys. I have to put this video together and then upload it. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.